Hello LIBA301 students. I wanted to spend a little bit of time going over the service project with you. I'm going to go right into the links here, and this will be in the last week's folders, weeks 7 and 8, service project presentation, and then the service project essay submission. For those of you that I had the chance to meet with online, I already went over some of the basics of what was required of you for this service project. These are the two main areas, just to reiterate that again. You will actually have your service project work that you complete. While you're doing that, as I mentioned, it's a good idea to create as many visuals as possible, and you're going to present those visuals to me during the last week of class in some kind of presentation format, some electronic presentation program. So you can do things like a PowerPoint, you can do a Prezi, you can do a Padlet, you could do maybe you have a nice app that you use that's a photo album app that you can caption photos to kind of put some narrative to them. So that's really the only requirements for this, is that you should plan on, if you were going to present this, the presentation would be 3 to 4 minute presentation, maybe 5 minutes tops. You're not presenting it, officially presenting it. We're going to go over it one-on-one. But when you're putting this together, no matter what platform you're using, just keep that in mind as kind of the basis for how you will approach this in terms of the amount of content that you have. So maybe you have one picture that needs more explaining. So maybe you add some caption to it, maybe just a few words, maybe a couple bullet points, and then we need to spend some time talking about that one picture. Again, just keeping in mind that kind of 3 to 5 minute framework of time. Okay, so I'm going to go into the links here and then talk a little bit more in detail about that presentation, and then talk in more detail about the essay as well. So again, just going over what I went over basically is pretty much enough detail, I think, for you to get through this piece, but I do want to talk about how this is broken down in terms of the grading. This is not open as of yet on Canvas. The framework for this is there, it's just hidden at this point. So it's total of 25 points for the service project, total, maximum. Each component is worth 12.5 points. So the work itself, the project itself, is the important part. But if you don't submit a presentation and if you don't submit an essay, you get no points for it at all. All three of these components have to come together into these two final components. So you have the work itself, and then you have the visual presentation of it, which is what you'll be submitting here, and then you have the essay portion of it. Okay, as I said, again, this, there's no requirement in terms of numbers of slides. I know that's common in terms of assessment of a presentation, but I'm not going to dictate that to you, because I think in terms of this service project work, it can be stifling. It can limit your creativity if I tell you have to have so many slides or you have to have so many pictures. That's up to you. What you're trying to do, and keep this kind of in the back of your mind, in addition to that 3 to 5 minute time frame, is that you have to walk me through your presentation, through your service project. You're going to walk me through it visually, and you're going to walk me through it narratively with the essay. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say for that, and we'll go on to the next component of this now. So I'm going to just go back out here to the Home tab. Bear with me for 1 second until I get my placing here again. Again, these are located, the links for these are actually the submission links here. This is where you'll submit the presentation, and then this link is where you'll submit the essay. Okay, so the essay, a little bit more we need to talk about here. This one here, I mean, you know, the kind of a crux of this course is to get you to think about your futures, your careers, in terms of espousing the works of the Sisters of Mercy. So that is going to be a key component of this. So I'm going to just read down through this here. Following completion of your service project, which is required for this course, you will submit your work here, and that's in this link area here. Of course, your page looks different. This is the instructor end. The following should be included in your submission. If you're not doing this as a group, I don't think anyone's doing this as a group at this point. So there's just one submission. There won't be any groups, so we can ignore that piece of it. If you want to work with somebody else on this, you're more than welcome to, but you should get in touch with me right away to let me know about that. So here you're going to have to include in the narrative part the number of hours. So the number of hours you spent on the project itself, and so and I'm going to change this second part here. You will have to now, because of the changes with the coronavirus, tell me what all you did for this. If you had to make phone calls, if you had to send emails, if you had to do whatever the prep work was, explain it in there. I don't need to have all the detailed hours, and that's what this piece here means. It does not include prep research time. That means I'm not asking you to give me the total hours. So maybe you made phone calls for 15 minutes, you wrote emails for a half hour. That's what I mean by this. I don't need that detail in terms of the time. Just explain to me what you did. Okay. The other thing here that you'll submit with the essay is at least a couple of pictures along with your essay submission. You can embed them right into the essay itself. Maybe you put them at the beginning, maybe you put them at the end of the essay. It's up to you. Again, this isn't a formal APA or MLA or Chicago style paper. It is a reflection essay where you're reflecting on your experience of the service work. Okay, nice to go with this, and it helps me to make that connection, are some pictures. Okay, so I think it's really important that you include at least a couple of pictures in here with it. And then the other part here is just kind of going over a 2-page write-up detailing your experience and how the service work ties to at least one, and this is the important part, of the values of the Sisters of Mercy. We're going to have a little discussion about the values of the Sisters of Mercy, and it'll help in preparation for this piece of the service project, but we will be coming together in a discussion group and talking about the mercy values. Okay, and then that's it. You're going to submit everything here. You submit the essay here, and then the presentation itself gets submitted on the other link. It's all submitted within the week 7 and 8 module. However, they are 2 separate submissions. I do that because I like to grade them separately, and I like to be able to have this 2 students links up beside each other at the same time, so I can go back and forth between the 2 instead of having to close the window out, come back, and go back in. So it's a grading thing, and it's more to help me make sense of what you submitted in terms of the narrative along with the visual piece. Okay, that's it. I am hopeful that you're all staying safe and well, and if you have any questions about this, please reach out to me. You can text me, you can email me. All my contact info is in the syllabus here in the course. Feel free to reach out to me. We can set up another Google Hangouts meet, or we can talk by phone, or we can just email back and forth. Okay, that's it. Take care. Have a good evening.